Wakey, wakey, rise and shine. Good morning to everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome in our new bedroom. Yes, I think it's the first time that I've started the recording here in our new place. So, I've been working a little bit of camera. You can see here the product. We now have the bridge I mentioned I was planning, and also I have also extended upwards the elevator, and we have a clear way to our signboard. After that, well, obviously I've added in here an elevator for quickly accessing the bedroom from the storage room. It's very comfortable, very easy to get up and down. And other than that, I've worked here on the square in front of our new storage room. I've added a little bit of decorations here and there. I've added the round window. Here we have a couple of flower beds, and also in here you can see I was still busy working on the ceiling, which is still yet unfinished. You can see here I've inserted this nice little window decorated with also another flower bed over here, and I think that should be it. I didn't add anything else. So now that we've reviewed what we've done, what I did off camera, let's go ahead with planning today's episode. So, in last episode, if you don't recall, we built the storage room. Well, I failed also to show you, sorry. That here I still didn't add in all the chests, but I've filled in 2 modules, and I have also sorted them. For example, now we have a separate chest for andesite, granite, and diorite, or we have a separate chest for dirt and dirt variants, all stuff like that. The enchantments, we have a separate storage, so now we have a fully fledged, and I have even 3 chests left for the time being. I'm planning on filling in the modules as I go on, and as I get more materials of the same kind. If I do require another slot, I'll just add it in here and in the other modules. So, planning the episode. Last episode we built the storage room down below, and so in this episode, just for a change, I'm not going to exploration yet. I plan on doing it soon, since we've been building tirelessly for the last couple of episodes. But I want to spruce up our blooming castle. Yes, it's coming all together nicely with some redstone shenanigans. So some secret passageways and all stuff like that. So this episode won't be as much of building rather than designing, and I want to cover with you the basics of how can I put it, basics of redstone and redstone passageways. So it would be redstone doors, filters, and all the detection systems, all the various alternatives. Since I've never went into detail with it in our series up until now, apart from a couple of things like filters or, for example, farms, but not that specific. Since I want my castle to be, you can start to see it here, that I like my castles to be as labyrinthine as possible. So I have various ways to basically travel from one part to another of the castle itself. For example, if I were to go to the storage room from our signboard here, we could go either using the road, so making the old path all around and down there. You could use the bridge over here, or here it doesn't show, but I can drop down here, and here I have a secret hidden entrance to our elevator, and we can go down here. It's, I like it very much because having different passageways means that I have different alternatives. For example, one time I might start from the signboard, but another time I might start from here, so I could go up here and travel via the bridge. Or one other time I may be down to the iron farm, so I can go, you know, having alternative paths is always nice, and I thoroughly enjoy let's say the visual clutter, let's call it that, of having all these different choices. So I wanted to add, for example, a secret passageway that I can travel, for example, from the Enchanter's Towers over to the storage room. So we could do an underground passage, or for example a passage from the storage room down to the shrine, or stuff like that. Okay, so introduction aside, we first of all need to perform our dutiful ritual for wishing good luck to this episode. And after that, we will head over to my Redstone testing world, or my general testing world, and come up with a couple of designs and cover up a couple of basics. Okay, here we are approaching our shrine. I chose to sacrifice 32 pieces of redstone ore, since today we are going to work with redstone. And 32 pieces of redstone ore is quite a lot, because remember that we now have fortune 3, so it can go. We can easily gather up more than a stack of redstone pieces using this one. So in you go, and I take the advantage while we're here looking at the smoke rising slowly. If you enjoyed my content, I know that I usually don't promote my channel as much. I'm not that dutiful, or rather, I'm very forgetful. But this time, I remembered. Truly. Oh, this is Enderman stuff. If you enjoy my content, please do subscribe, do leave a like or a comment, anything. I enjoy thoroughly answering your comments whenever you leave one. And if I get more subscribers, obviously I'm just more, let's say, motivated to bring you, well, Minecraft content in general, but also if you have any ideas, let me know. I'm always completely available for feedback in general. If you like it, if you don't like it, what you would like me to see doing, what you didn't like, what you would suggest I should work on to improve, anything. Okay, the sun is setting, and so are we, in the sense that we are now leaving this world, and I will meet you back in my testing world. Here we are, creative mode, testing world. Here you can see I've, well, this is a spoiler alert for next episode. Yes, I was working here on a design for the ceiling of our storage room, and I chose to go with this one. I'll work on it off camera. You can see here I've been using it to test all sorts of stuff. For example, here we have a water drainer, I think, an ocean clearing. Here we have a mock design for iron farms. I was testing different setups for the glass, for the positioning of the villagers, and everything. Here we have another test for an iron farm. I think this was like the one we tried to do before with the tower. This is another iron farm. I've been thoroughly testing them. This was the one time I was testing whether a lightning strike would be able to turn on netherrack for our shrine. This is another iron farm. And well, here I have, for example, this is the unloading station. that we use for our pumpkin and melon farm. Here we have a portal that I think I used this one for a thumbnail of an old episode, maybe. Here we have a filter system, both the normal one and the short one. Yes, so I have many testing worlds. For example, this is titled Testing World 1.19, so meaning that I've started this world in 1.19. I have older ones which are filled with all sorts of stuff. I may as well take you on a tour on that. So let me know if you would like to see my old testing world. Matters aside, let's start working on redstone and redstone doors. Okay, so for example, this is our most basic version of our redstone door. We have an angle, so basically you push this wooden button. Why wooden button? Well, wooden button is very important because it has a longer delay. Otherwise, with a stone button, we wouldn't have as much time to traverse the door before it closes back, like this. You see that it closes almost instantly. So we would either have to stay here and we traverse it. Instead, with a wooden button, we have a little more delay and we can traverse it much more comfortably. And here we have basically the redstone. The door opens up, closes behind us. We would just need another button here on the back, and we can just open it back up and go in. The redstone behind it is bashfully simple. Just a redstone line with, well, I use here a torch tower because I didn't want to have basically a spiral of redstone, but we could even get rid of everything here and just add in a series of redstone pieces that goes up to basically the spot we need. But we do need a redstone torch to invert the signal. Otherwise, for example, you see like here, the redstone at the moment is turned off. Okay, so you can see here, basically we need a redstone torch here, because otherwise, were it missing, the door would always stay open and we would just press the button to basically close it. You can see it like this, and it doesn't make any sense. Instead, by using a redstone torch, well, we can even put it down here. By using a redstone torch, we invert the signal. So basically, when we turn this button on, the redstone torch gets turned off, and the pistons retract, opening the way. So basically, breaking it down, redstone doors always use pistons for moving blocks in one way or another. So what we can act on is the activation mechanism. We can change it. We can use a pufferfish. So basically, vicinity detection, so an automatic door. We can use, for example, a filter and make it a password door. We can use a series of button combinations, lever combinations. I'll just give you a quick tour of it. I'll just whip up a couple of designs for activation mechanisms, and obviously we can also act on the shape of the door mechanism itself, meaning that we could have, for example, a 3x3 door that opens up in a spiral. But obviously, the more, let's say, fancy the opening mechanism gets, and the more complicated the door gets. So we'll stick it to the very simple things for the time being. So, okay, here we have a second version of our original door. This is much like the jungle temple of Mojang, so it's very basic, this too. Basically, we have to activate a specific set of levers. So for example, if I were to activate everyone, it doesn't do anything. But if I deactivate this one, it opens up. It's very stupidly easy because just this is called, well, let's say technical speaking, an AND bridge, meaning that both this lever and this one must be turned on, while this one must be turned off. So basically this strip of redstone is bridging all the signals over to the pistons. So if I were to deactivate this one, you can see that this redstone torch is turned on and the rest is turned off. But the door is still shut. If I were to activate this one, instead this one gets turned on. So we can basically, we cannot, we have to leave it off. And if I were to turn off this one, obviously like the first one, we would have the door closed. And we can mix and match this mechanism in a whole set of ways. Okay, here we have our door. Allow me to demonstrate. I use a lever this time instead of a button. So, here we have our very flush wall. We pull the lever and a door opens up. And we have here the pathway we take for moving. Now you can see here that it is a little bit more complicated. We do require a couple of pistons more. But the very important part, the very core of the mechanism is this redstone line. Because you have to have this this repeater and this piece of redstone on the same timeline. Why do I talk about timeline? Because if you didn't know, repeaters by default have a 1 tick delay, meaning that the redstone passing through activates a fraction of time later than this piece of redstone here. If I were to add more delay, for example, now this is a 4 tick delay, you can see it much clearer that the repeater slows down the activation time. This 1 tick delay is very important because in order for this door to function, we have to first activate this piece of redstone, and after we have to activate the pistons over here. If I were to attach everything together, you can see, I can show you it will break everything. Okay, the opening goes without a hitch, but the closing, the pistons remains in the way. This is because when pistons are extended, they are unmovable. You cannot move an open piston with another piston. Like if I were to put a piston over here like this, and if I wanted to move it with another piston, it doesn't work. You can see here, if I were to close this one, you can see now the piston works. So basically the issue is when deactivating, we have to first power off this piston, and only after that we have to power off this one. Therefore we do need the repeater, and it is always better to add a little bit of delay, because otherwise there is a risk that this happens, because it all depends on the speed of, let's say, the server itself through the Minecraft game. It's a little bit of a finicky mechanic, but once you master it, it's no trouble at all. So basically we now have this door, and we can now work on a different activation mechanism, because now until now we use a lever and a button. But if we were, for example, a lever are not easy to hide. It's much easier to hide a button, but we cannot use a button here because we do require basically a constant impulse. We could invert the actual redstone power. This is always a valid option. So basically we would have to put a redstone torch like down here, and now the door stays closed unless we were to power this torch to power off. But you can see here that since here now everything is broken because of my shenanigans. So let's do it properly. Okay, like this. But if you were to use a button, you can see that the delay is not quite well matched with the time it takes us to basically travel through the door itself. It takes because this door it takes more time to open and close, and so we have less time, less button time, in which the door stays open. So here I present you with a very basic design. In the technical language, this is called a T flip-flop. I know it's not the most easier to remember name. The important thing that you need to know is that it turns a button into a lever equivalent. You can see it here. For example, if we were to press a button, the redstone turns, the lantern turns on and stays on. If we were to press the button again, the lantern turns off and it stays off. So basically, we turned a button into a lever equivalent. And this is very useful. There are many designs. I've taken this, I've taken this design from the Minecraft official wiki. I'll leave the link down below. There is a whole page on this kind of mechanism. Very well done, and I thoroughly support the work of the Minecraft wiki. Okay, so now that we've reviewed a couple of basic designs, we can now go back to our world and start working with redstone and implementing all these kinds of doors, of mechanisms, and stuff like that. I'll see you in the other world. So, a couple of changes have taken place. Allow me to show you. I've implemented in our place, in our buildings, the redstone contraptions that we've seen in the previous segment. Let's say now that I've shown you in our testing world. So you can see there is a new entrance. We can now go over to the spiral staircase from the storage room, which is very handy because we don't have to go up, cross over the bridge, go over to the signboard and go and walk down to this spiral staircase. Instead, we can just access it here. Now, I've camouflaged our secret passageways in this very spiral staircase. Look at that. Yes, it's a little bit private. You don't quite look up as often. You can see it that from over here it's barely even visible. And once you are here, I usually never look up. Most of the times I just look down. We hit this button, and here we have the door. Well, the mechanism here isn't accessible because I couldn't find a reasonable way to add a door. But I have the other one which is accessible. This is the one, you know, with the 6 pistons, the 6 piston design door, and you can see here that we have a T flip-flop inside. You can see that this door stays open, although I used a button over there for activating it. For closing it, I have this pressure plate, because that's the way if I walk over here and I go on my way, the door closes behind me without me having to worry about closing it on my own. Same thing when I walk in, it just opens up. Very handy. Well, here we have a little break room with a couple of useful tools. Here we have the door to the mechanism, and here we have the other door. This is instead a normal door, but here we have still the T flip-flop that allows us to keep it open rather than for us to rushing through. Okay, let's look at the mechanism. Here we have it, the T flip-flop, as we have seen in our world. So from these two sides we have the 2 inputs. This is from this pressure plate here, and the other one is from a button up in the tower. We have here the T flip-flop, which here activates and deactivates the mechanism, and basically, and simply there is a redstone line that goes up to the pistons for activating them or deactivating them. You can see here we have to step out for the T flip-flop to activate, but the handy thing of this one is that if we were to walk over, the door closes behind us, so we don't even have to worry about it closing when we get out. The other one we have to close it manually using the button outside. Here we have the activation button. Also here for the sake of camouflaging it a little bit. You can hear that it activated, and we can go back. And the same as before, here the door closes behind us, so we don't even need to worry about it closing. Okay, and now we have a passageway. You know what? A covered passageway, most importantly, for us to go from the storage room to the enchanted tower. It is very important because I tend not to sleep. So basically, if I were to walk outside in the garden, phantoms would spawn instantly. Instead, this way we are able to avoid phantom spawning. I'll go quickly to sleep and then we'll get up. Okay, so let's go quickly to sleep. Good night, wakey wakey, rise and shine. And let's go up to the signboard for concluding the episode. Okay, here we are. So, well, I've already went ahead and cleared out our spruce up the base of the redstone. I'm nowhere near done, simply because this is going to be one of those long-term projects in which basically I will be adding here and there. Once I find a nice place to add in a secret passageway, I'll add it off camera and then just show you on camera. In the next episode, as I've announced previously, it's highly likely I'm going to go on a little bit of an exploration session. We could find the stronghold, would be a nice idea. Or could we even go down to the deep dark and explore the mineshaft and explore the deep dark? Let me know. I will post some polls on my platforms. So let me know if what you would like me to see to do. I will obviously down in the description there are all the links for my platforms. I will leave a poll on my Instagram, on my Telegram, on my Discord. Just let me know wherever, and we will see ourselves in the next episode of our series. Thank you very much for following me until now, and I will wait for you in the next episode. Bye bye! So I have to apologize because this episode took a little bit longer than I had originally planned. I tried to keep my episode shorter than 20 minutes, roughly. But unfortunately, since I want to explain Redstone thoroughly, and Redstone it's not such an easy to grasp concept, it does take up much more time than your average, let's say, building video. Because that I can either use time lapses or just skip ahead, while with Redstone it takes a lot of time to explain and to do everything the way it must be done. I have on my mind, I have to write it down, I want to do a soothingly explained Redstone video, naming it something like Bob Ross does Redstone. So in that kind of way, having it explained slowly and calmly. Obviously, it's going to take up a lot more than your usual video. I'll try. It's a concept I want to try to do a little bit of role play. Let me know what you think about this, and I'll wait here for you in the next episode. Thank you.